Hello everyone and happy Thanksgiving. I'm Stephen Pepper filling in tonight for Crystal Cruz. Tonight the EPA is pushing back a rule that would require the oil and gas industry to cut methane emissions. The methane reduction rule approved under the Biden administration and set to start this year is now delayed. The Trump administration is giving companies until January 2027 and may scrap the rule entirely. EPA leaders say delay could save the industry $750 million over 11 years. Now critics argue it will harm public health and slow efforts to curb climate change. Now, early this morning, Odessa police responded to a tragic accident where a train struck a pedestrian near Murphy and County Road West. Officials say the person did not survive. Next of kin have not yet been notified. At the time of the investigation is still going on. All train crossings between Grandview and County Road West remain blocked for now. And drivers, take note. A new traffic signal is now active in Greenwood, and officials want to make sure you see it. The Greenwood Volunteer Fire Department says the new four-way light at FM 307 and County Road 1110 is now in operation. They're urging everyone to stay alert and drive safely as you approach this intersection. If you live in Odessa, here's a heads up so you can plan ahead. Starting Monday, December 1st, crews will begin replacing water lines on East Pearl Street. As you can see marked in orange, Myrtle Street will be closed from Washington Lane to Wabash Avenue. It will last 2 weeks. The city says the estimated completion of the entire project is 16 weeks, and they kindly ask you to follow all traffic signs, consider using alternate routes, and allow extra travel time during this period. And in Brewster County, officials have announced the burn ban will officially go into effect starting this Friday till January 12th. The order prohibits any outdoor burning in unincorporated areas unless the fire is inside a proper metal, rock, or concrete fire ring, no more than 8 inches tall. Violations can result in a Class C misdemeanor and fines up to $500. County leaders say the ban is necessary to reduce wildfire risk during the dry season. Well, Andy, before we all dig into dessert, tell us, will we need coats or just extra gravy tonight?
I would go ahead and get a little extra gravy and maybe slide in some dessert because it was just absolutely gorgeous across the Permian Basin today. No complaints here into Midland and Odessa. Low 60s hitting around 62 into Midland, 63 off into Odessa, 70 in Marfa with our warmest temperature, and 73 degrees into Presidio. No complaints for today. But otherwise, walking out the door right now, hanging on to a handful of clouds. We're going to see those clouds increase as we go and throughout much of the night. Currently around 58 degrees, making those temperatures not going to budge a whole lot tonight. We're going to get cool tonight, but not as cool as we were on this Thanksgiving morning. High pressure taking control, soon going to be kind of flattening out thanks to our next system approaching from the west, helping aid increasing that cloud cover as we go and throughout much of the night. If you have any outdoor plans, it's going to be relatively comfortable, especially walking out to Monahans around 63 degrees right now. Temperatures tonight, we're talking 40s and 50s, relatively going to be a cool night with cloudy and breezy conditions heading into Black Friday, maybe an isolated shower or two ahead of our next strong cold front where we're going to be dropping from the 70s to the 40s by Sunday.
Today, Curbside Bistro made sure that no one in Odessa went without a Thanksgiving meal. Cars lined up hours in advance waiting to taste turkey, greens, mashed potatoes, and those yummy rolls. In total, the bistro dished out 1,700 plates thanks to the help of over 20 volunteers. The owner, Alejandro Barrientos, says it's his way of giving back.
This is my community. This is where I'm born and raised. This is where I raised my little girl. And so I think it's super, super important to show the community that shows us so much love right back.
The holiday tradition first started in a food truck 11 years ago where Barrientos served 300 people. He says he always knew he could have a special impact on the community, but not at this scale. And we all know Thanksgiving is about being grateful, but also enjoying the food on our dinner tables. And we all know that there will be leftovers. You definitely don't want that food to go bad. So here's some reminders before you dig in. First, don't leave anything out at room temperature for more than 2 hours. Move the leftovers to the fridge when everyone is done eating or packed up what they're taking home. The only exception is for desserts, fruits, and nuts. And keep in mind, your Thanksgiving leftovers are only good for about 4 days. So if you haven't eaten or frozen it by Monday, it's time to throw it out. And NewsWest 9 wants to give a huge shout out and a big thank you to Cracker Barrel for serving up some amazing food and desserts for our NewsWest 9 family working this holiday. We appreciate you all so much, and a special thanks to every food service worker spending Thanksgiving Day cooking, catering, and serving delicious meals for families across West Texas. We're grateful for you today and every day. If you're doing some holiday shopping with Black Friday around the corner, why not take the time to donate to NewsWest 9's Salvation Army Toy Drive. We're collecting toys that will be donated to children across West Texas so they have a present under the tree. All you have to do is drop off new and unwrapped toys in barrels at businesses across town. For a full list of all those drop-off locations, just go to our website at newswest9.com. Midland College is kicking off the holidays with gaming for a good cause. Their new Chaps Esports Arena is hosting its first tournament, and it's all about giving back. The Midland College North Pole Brawl happens Saturday, December 6th, featuring Brawlhalla and Smash Bros. Ultimate in one-on-one tournaments. And instead of an entry fee, players donated an unopened toy for the Midland Police Department's Blue Santa Toy Drive. Doors open at noon for check-in and free play, with tournaments starting later in the afternoon. Prizes are up for grabs, and players can pre-register online. Looking for a fun way to kick off the holiday season? Odessa has you covered. The city and Odessa Parks and Recreations invites everyone to the 30th annual Parade of Lights on Saturday, December 6th at 7 p.m. The parade starts at Odessa College and travels down to 3rd Street. If you want to enter a vehicle, check the city's website for registration details. Also, the City of Andrews has a festive contest you won't want to miss. City employees are decking out Main and Broadway for their 3rd annual Deck the Halls contest. This year, they're making it extra special by awarding $1,000 to each winner in 8 creative categories, celebrating a variety of holiday themes and decorating styles. For more details on how to enter, visit the City of Andrews website. And out in Monahans, there's a festive event you won't want to miss. The Monahans Chamber of Commerce is hosting Christmas at the Dunes on Saturday, December 6th. You can enjoy live music from local talent and soak up the holiday cheer, all hosted by America. The event runs from 11:30 in the morning till 4:30 p.m. at the Ward County Event Center. It's a perfect way to get in the holiday spirit. All right, Andy, as we gear up for all those holiday lights and Christmas activities starting next week, tell us, will we get chilly to start December?
It's going to be almost right on cue to definitely get into that holiday spirit, as we are tracking a strong cold front to give us a little bit of that Arctic air starting early next week. Be sure to stay tuned, and I'm going to break down the full weather impacts coming up. Good evening, everyone. Certainly was a warmer day today. Just walking out the door right now, we are around 5 degrees warmer than we were yesterday into Midland, around near 10 degrees warmer in Fort Stockton, and we are exactly where we were yesterday in both Marfa and Alpine. Taking a look right now on radar, we have a little bit of those increasing clouds into the forecast. That's going to be the trend as we go throughout much of the night. Currently 58 in both Midland and Odessa, with 70 down into Presidio. Taking it upstairs, high pressure is the name of the game, hence why we were just a little bit warmer today, but that's going to begin begin to flatten out soon as our next system will be approaching from the west, which is going to bring our next cold front into the region. And we're talking some of the coldest air that we are going to actually feel in quite some time. So let's track out those next couple days. As we head into Friday, we'll be able to have those increasing clouds, talking 40s and 50s into the morning hour, with around 50s and 60s for those daytime highs. A bit cloudy, maybe an isolated shower or two. Most of us should stay dry though with those breezier conditions. And really, as the cold front comes around kind of Saturday late afternoon into those morning hours, we're talking gusts over 30 miles per hour. But daytime highs on Saturday going to be 70s. We're heading into Sunday, we're going to be into the 40s and 50s. Let's track it out together. We'll have that increasing cloud cover with a bit more sunshine, mostly off into the west. I really think the Permian Basin along its inner areas of the lower Trans-Pecos will hang on to most of the cloud cover, working with those breezy winds at times around 30 miles per hour. But those isolated shower chances, most of it is going to, the bulk of it, excuse me, it's going to stay well off into the east of us. We'll hang on to a bit of clouds heading into Saturday with our next cold front approaching. We're going to put temperatures on the back of the map. We can see a lot more of the blues certainly going to be coming down into near our neck of the woods as the cold front's going to come down, be rather breezy around that sunset hour, and we're talking 30s, even some 20s out the door heading into Sunday. Certainly going to need to keep that jacket handy, especially for any travelers heading back into near your hometown, especially areas in Corpus. Going to be around 57 degrees heading into Sunday afternoon, around into the 40s for us here into the Permian Basin. To take it a bit closer to home, though, a lot of us will be into those low to middle 30s. I am forecasting our first freeze of the season for Midland and Odessa to be at 32 degrees, but at times, those feel-like temperatures in the morning, we're going to hang on to a breeze, will be into the 20s, so definitely going to need to keep that jacket handy as we go throughout much of your Sunday, even with feels like still going to be remaining into the 30s and 40s area-wide. Otherwise, taking a look right now outside the city of Big Spring, we are nowhere near that 58 degrees walking out the door, hanging out to some southeasterly flow. We're going to be having a hard time to cool off quite nicely tonight, as most of us are going to remain into those middle to kind of near upper 40s across the region. So tonight, hitting around 49 in Odessa, 40 out into Marfa, hanging on to a fair bit of clouds with a gusty winds as we head in throughout much of our Friday. So might need to hold on tight to that Black Friday item as we head into those morning hours, with around 63 into Midland, 64 off into Odessa, a bit more sunshine off in the west, giving us more of those middle to upper 70s with that strong cold front heading into early next week.
Andy, thanks. San Antonio authorities made a major move this week. We tell you who was arrested and why. It has the city talking. And more new laws are about to kick in across Texas, including some voters had to approve first. What's changing next? Coming up. We're learning more about a massive raid in San Antonio. The FBI says they arrested more than 140 people, and more than a third of those were confirmed gang members. Megan Reina has more.
New surveillance video taken around 3 in the morning on November 16 shows the moment dozens of people realize a raid was underway. According to the Texas Department of Public Safety, this all came to be because of this man, Luis Amador Castillo Hernandez. According to a warrant, Texas special agents had been surveying the after-hours spot off San Pedro near Bassey Road since September for Tren de Aragua activity, specifically keeping tabs on this suspected drug dealer and gang member. A search warrant was signed by a judge just hours before the operation unfolded. On Tuesday, HSI reported 143 people were taken into custody for being in the country illegally. Of that, they say 98 are from Venezuela and 51 are suspected to have ties with the Venezuelan gang. We've only been able to identify 6 of the 51 suspected gang members, despite putting in multiple requests with federal officials for their identities and charges. Federal officials also report 25 people taken into custody have a criminal history in the U.S. 13 of those were felonies, but they did not release their identities. In addition to these arrests, they say cocaine, 3 guns, and $35,000 in cash was seized. But there is a call for more information from elected officials, including Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones and Congressman Joaquin Castro, who wrote in a statement, quote, "It's un-American to round people up and claim they have ties to a gang without evidence or proof, especially as 92 people got caught up in the crosshairs." Megan Reina, KINS 5.
Thank you. We already watched more than 800 new laws roll out on September 1st, but the legislature isn't done with us just yet. Another batch of measures from both the regular and second special sessions is now gearing up to take effect. Some even had to go before voters first, including a proposal to boost tax records for business inventory. House Bill 7 lets private citizens sue anyone who manufactures or distributes abortion-inducing drugs to or from Texas, and people who take the medication cannot be sued. House Bill 8 replaces the STAR test with 3 shorter exams spread across the school year. Students will start the new testing system next school year. House Bill 25 allows people to buy ivermectin, a livestock parasite drug, without a prescription. It surged in popularity during COVID, if you remember, though it is not FDA approved as a treatment. Senate Bill 8 from the second special legislative session restricts which private spaces transgender people can use in public buildings, including government offices, school, universities, and jails, based on sex assigned at birth. House Bill 9 will exempt up to $125,000 of business inventory from local taxes. Right now, only inventory valued under $2,500 is exempt. And Senate Bill 8 from the regular legislative session requires sheriffs and counties with jails to formally cooperate with ICE and carry out certain immigration enforcement duties. Senate Bill 38 speeds up the eviction process for squatters. And as these laws phase in, the next few months will show us what they mean in practice for families, schools, and communities across the state. We'll be watching what changes and what challenges arise. And we're also learning more about how Texas private school voucher program will take shape, including when families can apply and what they'll be eligible for. Families can apply for the voucher program starting February 4th. Vouchers can be used starting with the 2026 to 27 school year. And the Texas Comptroller's Office will run the program. Most families could get about $10,000 per student for school expenses or private tuition. Homeschoolers get $2,000, and students with disabilities may receive up to $30,000. The state will track applications and approvals each year, but won't follow academic outcomes or graduation rates, despite calls from education advocates. It's important to know not every applicant will be approved, and you'll only get funds if your student is accepted by a private school, which can pick its own students. And staying in the holiday spirit, one football team stepped away from the field to give back to their community. Catch the full story after the break.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Today is all about coming together with family and friends, sharing good food and showing gratitude for everything in our lives. But not everyone has the opportunity to celebrate this way. So the Greenwood Rangers stepped in and helped those in need the only way they knew how, through teamwork.
It felt pretty good, especially in recent years. Greenwood hasn't been able to get over the second round hump, so it felt good getting the win.
Last week, the Rangers easily cruised past Eagle Mountain to claim their first area round championship since 2019. And their signal caller says it all starts with the mindset.
Our mindset is, every week has been, go 1-0 and then to improve every week. So, we bring intensity throughout the week, right, and try to execute at a high level. And, we try to make those Fridays look easy compared to what we do on Monday through Thursday.
But before they look ahead to regionals, the Rangers wanted to do something special for the Tall City.
I think this is bigger than football. Just give the guys an opportunity to give back to the community that supports us. And so we're excited to be here at the Midland Soup Kitchen.
The entire Greenwood program came out to help get things set up for the kitchen's annual Thanksgiving dinner, an act they didn't have to think twice about.
The community of Midland and Greenwood, show support to us. So it's always important to give back to where you're from. And, we like doing things like this. We've done it every year. So it's really important.
Giving back is always important, and administrators of the ministry were more than grateful.
But to see this many kids get involved during their Thanksgiving break is really such a heartwarming thing. They could be doing anything during this week that they don't have school, and to see them get involved and remember their neighbor during this time, we were so blessed to say yes and answer the call.
Coach Hill says he will always pick up the phone and call because to him, life is bigger than football.
If football is just about X's and O's, you're missing a lot. I think football is a tool to teach the bigger picture of life, and I think anytime that you can use football to teach life lessons and show an attitude of gratitude and really give back to the community that supports us, it's a great thing.
After showing support to their community, the Rangers hope the community does the same for them during their regional round matchup against Graham. Now, this game will kick off tomorrow at 7 p.m. in Sweetwater, but if you can't make it, don't sweat it. Just tune in to NewsWest 9 at 10. For NewsWest 9 Sports, I'm Corey McIntyre.
The shooting in Washington has investigators on high alert. We'll tell you what officials are looking at now, next. Authorities are investigating Wednesday's shooting of 2 National Guards members in Washington, D.C. as a potential act of terrorism. The victims, both from West Virginia, remain in critical condition. Here's Melanie Zanona.
I want to start with the victims. They are 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf, both with the West Virginia National Guard, who were only sworn in 24 hours prior to the shooting. As of Thursday afternoon, both of them are still in critical condition. They underwent surgeries and are fighting for their lives in the hospital now with their families by their side. We've also received an update in the investigation. While officials said it's too soon to determine a motive, they do believe that this was a targeted attack and that the suspect drove all the way across the country from his home in Washington state just to carry out this act of violence. The suspect, Ramanullah Lakanwal, is a 29-year-old Afghan national. He came to the U.S. in 2021 as part of a Biden-era program to help vulnerable Afghans who assisted the U.S. during the war in Afghanistan. Officials did confirm that the suspect worked with a CIA-backed force during the war, and so that is going to be one of many areas of investigation. Investigators are also looking into his immigration history, the vetting process he went through. They've already conducted a search warrant on his home and interviewed associates in both Washington State and San Diego. So this really is a coast-to-coast investigation. The FBI is investigating this as a potential act of terrorism. So far, the charges being filed include 3 counts of assault with intent to kill while armed, but those charges could always be upgraded depending on the prognosis of the victims, with officials vowing to bring the full force of the law down on the suspect. Melanie Zanona, NBC News, Washington.
Now to an update. President Trump has announced one of the victims has died. The president says 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom passed away earlier today. He says she started service with West Virginia's National Guard in June of 2023. Officials say she and another guardsman, 24-year-old Andrew Wolf, were targeted by an Afghan national. The FBI is investigating the shooting as an act of terrorism. We'll have more details on that investigation later tonight. And the Supreme Court has temporarily blocked President Donald Trump from firing a top Library of Congress official. Shira Perlmutter will stay on as director of the U.S. Copyright Office for now. The court is holding off on Trump's emergency request until 2 related cases play out. Normal presidents are allowed to remove leaders of certain federal agencies, but this case is different because the Copyright Office is tied to the Library of Congress and not the executive branch. Perlmutter argues that makes it part of the legislative branch. Andy, for all of West Texans getting cozy this Thanksgiving night, are we talking chilly weather or just warm leftovers?
I would say heading into Black Friday, it's going to be more kind of those warm leftovers. If you like pecan pumpkin pie, I think either one will work. But we're going to be talking more like peppermints and kind of that Christmas vibe as we head into early next week. Certainly going to have to keep those leftovers very warm, so be sure to stay tuned, and I'll have those details coming up. Certainly was a pleasant Thanksgiving. A lot of us into those 50s and even some 60s. We did sneak in some 70s out to near areas of Marfa. So definitely some nice cool conditions for the basin. But if you were a turkey, you were kind of slow roasting around 375 degrees. Certainly no one saw that, but high pressure could certainly bring in those warm temperatures at times, which we were warmer than what we were yesterday. Instead, this time around, though, it's going to begin to help increase our clouds as our next system is approaching off the west, actually bringing a handful of some snow showers and a little bit of precipitation off into the Pacific Northwest, with a system that brought our first cold front currently up into near areas of the Great Lakes, actually bringing a little bit of some snow showers out into near areas of Chicago. Otherwise, here back at home, though, we'll see a little bit of 50s, 58 in both Midland and Odessa. We'll see those clouds increase as we go in throughout much of the night, topping out into those kind of 50s and 40s for overnight lows. Not going to be able to move too much around because of that additional cloud cover, alongside a bit of that southeasterly flow, going to give us a little bit more moisture, kind of have that little bit of a muggy feeling, especially along and near areas of I-10 heading into tomorrow morning. Could be a light haze or so, but for the most part, I think most of us should stay relatively fine. Otherwise, heading into our Friday, Black Friday for those shoppers, 40s and 50s heading out into the morning, topping out into those 50s and 60s for daytime highs. Saturday, we're going to warm up rather quickly and be a little bit breezy as we head into Friday and Saturday ahead of our next cold front, which is certainly going to fill it, and we're going to also hear it. It's going to be rather breezy, talking gusts over 30 miles per hour, leaving us to 20s and 30s overnight, with daytime highs in the 40s and 50s as we head into Sunday. A lot of us could see our first freeze of the season. I am forecasting that for both Midland and Odessa. So definitely, as we go throughout much of your Black Friday, a handful of clouds off into the east, a little bit more cloud cover off into the west, especially into near areas of Pecos. A little bit more sunshine in the forecast. Maybe see an isolated shower or two, but most of us should stay dry as we go throughout much of our Friday as well, even heading into our Saturday, hanging on to a handful of clouds. It's still a little bit of a breeze as our cold front will be approaching, bringing in a lot more of that colder air. A lot of this blue is temperatures into the 30s and 40s, going to soon bring all those even 20s and 30s as we head into Sunday morning. Highs are going to be into those 40s and 50s across the board, even still below 50 out into below 60, into near areas of Corpus Christi. Taking it, heading it closer to home on Sunday, a lot of us will be into those 20s and 30s, with daytime highs popping out into those middle to upper 40s. I think we'll even see a little bit more of those lower 50s, especially along into near areas of the Presidio Valley. Walking out right now, the sun is down, but we are hanging on to some clouds. Around 58 into Odessa right now. Heading into tonight, most of us should be into those 40s, around 45 in both Midland and Odessa, with highs topping out into those middle to near upper 60s, as well as some lower 50s, especially off into near the east, with a bit more 70s into the west, with most of us at 70s on Saturday, with a strong cold front late Saturday into Sunday.
Andy, thanks. Black Friday is tomorrow. Will you what's hot, where to find, and the best deals, and how to save big? And planning to go camping anytime soon? Walmart is recalling thousands of stoves that could be dangerous. What you need to know, coming up. Thinking about shopping, and that's because Black Friday is upon us. Linda Baccaro takes a look at prices, what's popular, and how you can find good deals.
Ahead of Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, the mood is merry at Mano a Mano, a boutique gift shop in Bronxville. The holiday shopping season now well underway.
So far, we're off to a good start. People have started early, ahead of schedule.
The hot ticket items on shopping lists this year, according to the National Retail Federation:
clothes, always popular. Gift cards top the list in terms of what people want. And certainly things like electronics, books and media, especially with some new products like a new Nintendo Switch coming out.
And what about tariffs? At the family-owned Luluver Florist in Bronxville, there has been an impact on certain items.
Any kind of containers, any kind of stands that we need for like funeral work or weddings and things like that, that we definitely see a big difference, and glass especially, because again, most of it comes from China.
We got a lot of our product in before the tariffs. There might have been one or two items that were hit by it that we had to let go, but for the most part, we were quite fortunate this year with our inventories.
The National Retail Federation expects overall sales to be about the same as last year as shoppers hunt for bargains.
Also, using AI tools to track deals and look for inspiration. We also see shoppers, similar to last year, looking at secondhand items.
typically around the holidays, everybody's going to push their sales. So far, so good. The price has been good.
For the loved ones, I'd like to find the targeted gift that is special, regardless of the price. So I think it's a bit of a balance this year.
I'm always concerned about, how prices are going up everywhere, but it is the season, so we kind of forget about that sometimes, right?
Temporarily.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
just
calories,
today,
right? It's like calories on Thanksgiving.
That's right,
you forget.
that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A major shopping battle is brewing this holiday season. It's being driven by artificial intelligence. Retailers like Amazon, Google, Walmart, and Etsy are now using AI-powered shopping tools. The goal is to make purchasing easier and faster through AI and online agents. Consumer sales trackers project 22% or $73 billion worth of online sales from now until Cyber Monday. Around the world will use the technology, receiving computer for dollars. Hundreds of FedEx employees will be laid off starting next year. More than 800 workers will be dismissed from their facility in Coppell between January to April 2026. Work from that facility will transition to a new third-party provider. News of the downsizing comes after 300 layoffs at FedEx facility in Fort Worth and more than 100 employees terminated from its Garland and Plano sites earlier this year. A Campbell Soup executive caught in a secret recording ranting about the company's products and mocking customers is no longer with the company. The soup maker released a statement about its investigation into Martin Bowley yesterday. The company says the first heard the audio recorded by a whistleblower last week. In it, Bowley says Campbell's makes highly processed food for poor people. Campbell's determined Bowley was behind the vulgar, offensive, and false inaccurate comments about the company's food. And if you're planning to camp this weekend, listen up. Walmart is recalling more than 200,000 camping stoves that could explode or catch fire. The recall covers Ozark Trail's tabletop one-burner butane camping stove. The company has received 26 reports of the stoves exploding or catching fire, with 16 injuries, including second-degree burns. They were sold nationwide and online from March through October. Customers should stop using the stoves immediately and return it to Walmart for a full refund. A recall has been issued for an adult bed rail sold on Amazon. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the King Pavani brand adult portable bed rails pose a risk of entrapment. The recall applies to several different models of the bed rails. They were sold on Amazon from June 2024 through May of 2025. Officials say anyone who owns the bed rail should stop using them and contact the company for a refund. Black Friday is tomorrow, and we'll show you which record stores are dropping exclusive vinyl and what's hot this year. And a rare Fabergé egg made for a Russian Tsar is going up for auction in London, and it could fetch a record price. Details coming up. Black Friday is hours away, and brick-and-mortar music shops taking part in Record Store Day are stocking the shelves with new exclusive vinyl releases. Here's Rick Damangella with more.
Among the more than 170 releases dropping on Record Store Day Black Friday is a 60th anniversary edition of A Charlie Brown Christmas, featuring the music of the Vince Guaraldi Trio. Bluey the album is getting a special release for its 5th birthday, with the music from the animated series pressed as a zoetrope. Post Malone's Fallen in Love is the lead-off track on Long Bed. The vinyl release, limited to 5,000 copies, marks the first time the songs have been released in physical form. a-ha's signature song celebrates its 40th anniversary with a red vinyl EP featuring 8 different takes on Take On Me. Phil Collins' Take Me Home is featured among the 6 extended remixes from his 3rd solo album on the 12 Inchers EP.
Stonehenge, where the demon dwell, where to live and to live well.
And the living legend Spinal Tap will have their new version of Stonehenge featuring Elton John immortalized on vinyl with a new release of The End Continues. The Record Store Day limited edition pressing includes new artwork and 3 exclusive songs. Dropping the needle in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Hey, look at that. North Texas featured front and center in today's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The LD Bell Blue Raider Band from Hearst marched down the iconic route this morning. The 300-member ensemble was among the 11 marching bands in this year's parade, and the only from Texas. The Texas Capitol is in the holiday spirit. Workers put up the Christmas tree inside the House chamber today. The tree came from Denison in North Texas before making its way through downtown Austin. The 20-foot tall Virginia pine comes from the Elves Christmas Tree Farm. It will stay up through the rest of the year. And a rare Fabergé egg made for Russian Tsar is heading to auction in London next week, and it could set a record. The Imperial Winter egg is carved from rock crystal and decorated with diamond-set platinum snowflakes. Inside, it opens to reveal an articulate bouquet of flowers. It's considered one of Fabergé's finest works. Christie's will auction the egg on December 2nd, and it could sell for up to $26 million. A Belgian sheepdog was the winner at this year's National Dog Show. Soul Hill was named best in the show at the Kennel Club of Philadelphia's 2025 National Dog Show. She defeated one of the most formidable collections of group winners in National Dog Show history. Every dog who advanced to the round of 7 finals was ranked #1 in their breed nationally. Yet this time, Soul Hill delivered a virtually flawless performance, and her handler said her attitude and movement made the difference. Your last look at the forecast coming up here at NewsWest 9 at 6.
Certainly was a pleasant Thanksgiving Day. No complaints unless you were a turkey. You were slow roasting at 375 degrees, but nobody saw that. We were into those 60s and heading into tonight, especially for those Black Friday shoppers. A lot of us are going to be into those 40s and 50s, hanging on to a handful bit of some clouds, maybe a light haze in some spots. We'll be able to warm back up into some 70s just in time for Saturday, but we're going to be rather breezy as our cold front's going to be coming in Saturday afternoon into Sunday morning, dropping us into the 40s and 50s with lows into the 20s and 30s. So definitely winter is coming in right on time, but you know, Thanksgiving, it was definitely pleasant and there's no complaints with that.
Well, thank you, Andy. Well, early this morning, we asked you on Facebook to weigh in. Turkey or ham? Which one do you prefer? And the votes are in. If you take a look behind me, 8 people went with turkey, 16 votes for ham. But the biggest group of all, 25 of you, voted for other tasty options like brisket, ribs, chicken, and more. Now, Andy, the big question is, which one do you prefer? Turkey or ham?
I prefer the ham because you get the, you get the brown sugar on it, you get the pineapple. I like it when it's sweet. Nothing against turkey. I'll eat turkey if it's there, but if I had to pick, I'll choose ham. So what about you? What are you picking?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the majority of our viewers. Ham is definitely the best one. It's just more juicier, more flavorful than turkey. No offense to the turkey people this Thanksgiving who are currently eating maybe right now and listening. It's a little too dry for me. Now, it's been a lovely Thanksgiving, and we just want to say how grateful we are for you and our viewers. From all of us here at NewsWest 9, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and thanks for sticking with us here tonight at NewsWest 9 at 6:30. We'll see you right here back at 10.